Two shootings just hours apart. The first happening in broad daylight in downtown Albany. A 16-year-old shot just blocks away from Lincoln Park in the South End. And shortly after that, a shooting inside a convenience store on Middleburg Street, not far from Freer Park in Troy. We have live reports from both scenes right now. Tiffany Payton live with the new details on the Albany shooting. But we start with Taniqua Penix live in Troy on that convenience store shooting. Tia. Right now, live at 6, breaking news from the nation's capital. Republican Kevin McCarthy on track to lose a 10th vote for Speaker of the House. So what happens next? Meantime, our local members of Congress are reacting to the historic failures to fill the seat. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he looks forward to working with whoever seizes the chamber's gavel. And breaking news, new at 6, from the Buffalo Bills, giving the first news conference since Damar Hamlin's collapse. The encouraging news on his health, he's now communicating with doctors. And rain persists. Warmer than usual temperatures are stuck for now. When will we return to more normal January weather? Paul is tracking it all.
Sabrina will join us in just a minute. Right now, we're kicking off this election night with team coverage. Our team of journalists is across the region and in New York City to keep you updated as live results come in, covering all the races from the governor's race to the congressional races that affect our area. My partner, Sabrina Dami, is live right now in New York City at Governor Kathy Hochul election night headquarters. Sabrina.
Hi, Mark. Well, while Governor Kathy Hochul hopes to maintain her spot as governor, Lee Zeldin tonight is looking to become the first Republican to win statewide office since George Pataki was elected governor 2 decades ago.
Hurricane Ian slamming into Florida, still causing damage after making landfall just after 3 this afternoon. Cars drowning as floodwaters quickly rush in. Entire streets flooded in Naples. Heavy winds blowing as the hurricane made landfall with wind speeds as high as 150 miles per hour. Street signs, no match for the wind as gusts reached an estimated 190 miles per hour. The flooding devastating western Florida, leaving this firehouse completely underwater, leaving emergency crews helpless. A time-lapse camera on Sanibel Island captured Hurricane Ian's storm surge as it impacted the Florida coast. A transformer blowing in Naples as the area was hammered by the hurricane, the city issuing an emergency citywide curfew. Debris filling the roads, a refrigerator you can see washing away in the flooding, and not only people sheltering in place, but animals too. These flamingos at a botanical garden in St. Petersburg having to wait out the storm in a bathroom.
Run the gun! Run the gun! Run the gun! Run the gun! Got it!
I'm sorry.
Breaking news out of Saratoga Springs. Gunshots ring out overnight on Broadway near Caroline Street. Listen to the harrowing moments after police nearby heard gunshots and rushed to the scene.
Fire, Broadway, stop fire, Broadway! Show your hands! Show your hands! All of you!
Police tell us the scary scene unfolded after a scuffle with a Vermont sheriff's deputy. This body camera footage shows the chaos as the shooting unfolded.
This is the first time in 26 years that an officer at the Saratoga Springs Police Department had to discharge a firearm in the line of duty.
Rain and wind hitting the capital region tonight, and our first warning weather team expects it to persist into tonight.
Let's take another live look outside right now. We'll take a look at Wolf Road right near Sand Creek Road. This is Colony. The road just a little wet over there right now. The showers are on our doorstep. Our weather team has been working hard tracking these storms as they roll into the capital region.
And tonight we have team coverage. First warning meteorologist Paul Cayano is in the Weather Center giving us the latest on the heavy rain and high winds. Plus meteorologist Reed Kisselback is live in Manans, tracking the conditions in real time from outside.
Tiffany Payton is also outside right now. City crews in Albany spent the day clearing off storm drains, preparing for the weather tonight.
But first, let's go to meteorologist Paul Cayano. Paul, what's the latest?
Most of the time they're finding what most people would see as a dead person.
That's the Gloversville police chief, and breaking news tonight, he is being forced to step down.
News Channel 13 Investigates has learned city leaders are furious about his decision to share the scope of the city's opioid crisis.
That decision may be costing the chief his job.
It depicted Gloversville as a crime-ridden community, and that was the only thing that was there. Was it really cast Gloversville in a very unfair light.
We are tracking the threat of severe weather heading our way tomorrow. Our weather team just issued an alert day. This is a live look outside on our CDPHP first warning cam in Saratoga Springs. This is the calm before the storm. Heavy rain and high winds are in our future. So with that, let's go over to first warning meteorologist Reed Kisselback, who's been tracking this all for us this evening. Reed, what's in store for us tomorrow?
The search for Samantha Humphrey is now in day 6 and still no sign of the missing teenager from Schenectady.
As the search continues, new at 6, the connection we are learning between this missing young teenager and another girl who is also missing. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sabrina Dami.
And good evening. I'm Mark Mulholland. Breaking new details on the search for a missing teen in Schenectady. At 4, we learned about a phone call between Samantha's ex-boyfriend and her brother. At 5, what the ex-boyfriend told her brother over the phone after a second phone call.
New at 6, we hear from Samantha's mother, who explains why her daughter was ordered to stay away from her ex-boyfriend. Also, that connection between Samantha Humphrey and another girl who is also missing.
Millions of people are expected to travel over the coming days, but a serious winter storm could slow those plans.
We're keeping a close eye on this storm system heading our way. Our weather team issued an alert day, 2 alert days because of this storm. Let's take a live look outside right now. On the left of your screen, that is Minneapolis, a drive through Minneapolis right now. The right side of your screen, that is Des Moines, Iowa. Elaine.
Breaking stories as we come on the air tonight. A major crash on the thruway brings traffic to a standstill. We have crews on the scene right now. Taniqua Penix will bring us a live report in just a second. Plus, a stabbing in Troy sends 2 people to the hospital. What we know after violence broke out near 8th and Hoosick Streets. And police need your help finding a missing teen in Montgomery County, where the 16-year-old was last seen.
Live at 6, breaking new details on Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin.
Hamlin's recovery continues moving in a positive direction, even talking to his teammates today. And only on 13, the local man who survived commotio cordis during a youth baseball game.
Plus, breaking news from the House of Representatives. The House just adjourned again with no speaker, but there is some positive news showing there may be an end in sight.
And today is 2 years since the attack on the Capitol. Here in Albany, voters took to our Capitol to call for reform. Tiffany Payton will bring us a live report.
Another warmer than usual day for early January, but cooler weather looms. Reed Kisselback is in the Weather Center. He has your first warning forecast. A serious storm making its way across the country right now. This was the scene in Wyoming. Whiteout conditions there.
The snow still coming down in the Dakotas. Almost a foot of snow on the ground right now in Bismarck after snow first hit the area yesterday.
And dangerous road conditions in Duluth, Minnesota. People there have been told to stay off the roads. Schools called a snow day today. Along with the snow and ice, people are dealing with high winds, making big waves on Lake Superior. Look at that. An hour ago, the man still searching for Samantha Humphrey on the Mohawk River came ashore. And Dan Levy was there, and he joins us live once again from the Mohawk River at Mohawk Marina. He's in the hamlet of Alplaus. And Dan, what's the latest from there?
Who's that? Oh, he's out! He's out! Look out! He's out!
Live at 6, an unwelcome guest made its way into a Fulton County nursing home.
How this buck made its way inside before busting out a window. Plus, breaking news just coming into our newsroom.
The verdict is in the trial against Darius Coakley, the man accused of murder on Madison Avenue in 2020. And more breaking news involving the University at Albany.
A lawsuit filed against the university, the athletic director, and the men's basketball coach, Dwayne Killings. And a desperate family pleading for a safe return.
We hear from the mother of a half-moon man with schizophrenia who's been missing for months.
My heart is cut into pieces all the day and the night, every minute, every hour. I'm just looking at the door. Maybe my son is back.
The death of Queen Elizabeth II sending shockwaves around the world. Overnight in Europe, people gathering outside Buckingham Palace in honor of the late Queen. In London, mourners laid flowers and lit candles outside Windsor Castle. The Queen had been suffering from what the palace had called episodic mobility problems since the end of last year, forcing her to withdraw from nearly all her public engagements. Buckingham Palace announced she died at Balmoral, her summer home in Scotland. There, mourners laid flowers near the castle where she died.
The state is at a crossroads. We were at a crossroads in 1994 when New York elected George Pataki, and we're at a crossroads right now. We need balance and common sense restored to Albany.
In Lee Zeldin's world, you overturn elections you don't agree with. That's not the democracy we live in, but it's the world that Lee Zeldin does.
Breaking news, 2 candidates for governor facing off tonight. Governor Kathy Hochul and Congressman Lee Zeldin taking center stage for the first and likely only debate before midterm elections in just 2 weeks.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
Breaking news tonight, Attorney General Letitia James is suing former President Trump and his company for fraud.
The lawsuit dubbed the Art of the Steal. The lawsuit today is a culmination of a 3-year civil investigation. What is next for the former president?
Nobody goes to jail as a result of this. It's a civil lawsuit.
The Attorney General is saying the former president spent years illegally inflating his net worth,
deceiving banks and New Yorkers.
Trump has got so many problems. There's so many claims against him. He could have some real issues here.
The lawsuit is 220 pages. It details efforts by Trump to inflate his net worth in order to get more favorable loans, while also deflating his net worth to gain more tax benefits.
Attorney General Tish James is detailing years of bank, tax, and insurance fraud, she says, and she's looking to bar the Trumps from being in charge of any New York company for 5 years and to stop them from applying for any loans from any state-registered financial institution for 5 years. The suit also looks for $250 million in penalties.